It's time to have a look at some Loopy games. So a few days ago I set up the Loopy and thankfully it all just worked perfectly. Everything worked first time. My universal power adapter set to the right voltage and got the right plug. It works. The games worked first try. I plugged them in. I haven't had any problems with it. Or haven't had any problems with this, but we'll get into that later. And then today I've been playing around with it a whole lot, and this evening I've just played through the Puppy Love Story game, or it's more of a visual novel really, but I've just got to the end of that and I recorded a bunch of footage, so we're gonna go back and have a look through that. That's some interesting bits, because it's actually pretty good even though I can't read any of it. I had my phone set up with the Google Translator app looking at the TV to translate some parts that I needed instructions for, so that was very helpful. The translator app worked well enough, but not perfectly. But yeah, we'll cut to that now and have a look at some interesting stuff. So here's the game. I'm gonna be skipping through it pretty quick just to cut out all the text that is unreadable, but you start off at the house and you get the dog, which is very cute. It's pretty well animated as well, and I like the music. I'm not sure what sort of sound chip this has, but I'm not sure if it's like samples or FM synth or whatever, but I like the sound of it. And so now we're teaching the dog some tricks, like sitting. And then you teach it to fetch, or because it's a visual novel, you're not really teaching it anything exactly, you're just going through the story and this is what's happening. But the dog and the main character of the little girl there is very well animated. It's really cute. And then sometimes you get those big pictures which look really nice. And then the story moves on to this next area and you're gonna throw the ball for the dog. Nice big throw. So you can kind of tell it's a more powerful system than the Super Nintendo because of, like, it just looks better. And then, so this is where you meet the first two new characters. There's like this doll that comes to life. And the clock. And then, for some reason, the picture disappears in the book. I wasn't using the translator in this point, so I don't know what the story actually is going on here. And then you'll decide to jump into the hedge there. And then you end up in a new area and meet another character, which is this teddy bear which is being harassed by these zucchini creatures or whatever they are. And then after a bit more story you get up to the actual first bit of gameplay, which is kind of like a quiz or a yeah, just multiple question thing where it asks you something and you have to choose the right answer. You have to get, I think, 5 of them right. After you get a bunch of them right, you defeat them we'll move on to the next actual gameplay area and skip the next chunk of story, because that's basically how the game progresses. Just there's a story section, and then a bit of gameplay, and then more story. Pretty normal for a visual novel, I think. Then in this next part of the gameplay, there's this potato field where you go with the dog and search through. You have to get to the top. It's kind of like a maze, and you sniff out the bad potatoes that explode if you stand on them. And there's also that mole that you have to find the mole twice for some reason. And I'm not sure if you actually have to find all the potatoes, but I did just to find the mole at the end there, which gets rid of that last bad potato. And then this kind of funny part happens where the little bird tricycle gets wings. Because this is the next story section. You start flying, and then the dog also flies. And then this is the next gameplay part where there's these lemons, which the miracle lemons throw these lemon slices at you, and it's pretty tricky because the hitboxes and timings are really off. It took quite a few attempts to get this done, because there's that first one and then the second one is faster. So as you can see, the hitboxes are not great, and the timing is just weird. So I got hit, but then this is when I did actually finish it eventually. And then you get another character appearing, this robot guy. And then he kicks the lemons away, or throws them away. And I'm not sure who that boy is, but he kind of gives you the robot, and you see him later on in the story. And then you get to the grandpa's house. So I wasn't using the translator for this bit, so I'm not sure what the story is actually going on, but then you also meet his dog, which you see later on. And then after a lot more story, you get to this kind of spooky forest where a pumpkin asks you more questions like the questions earlier. And then you get to another gameplay section where there's these cabbages. You have to find that person, or that character, whatever it was. For some reason, this bad cabbage hurts the dog. And then there's a lot more story, and then there's this next gameplay section, and this part was pretty tricky because you have to avoid being seen by the zucchinis. You have to make sure you're never in the same column or row as one of them. This took a bunch of attempts, so you have to do it twice. First with the main character. So you have to be very careful not to be in the same row as one of them. Again, I've sped this up. You get through that challenge, and then more story happens, and you get to kind of a castle, or evil castle, and you get trapped in this cage. And then I've sped this up again. You have to mash that A button to lift up the cage. I like all these little pictures, they're really cute. This is right at the end of the game now. You get to the big evil cabbage, and I did use the translator app to go through this part through the recording, and it's not a perfect translation, but it's basically you're arguing about not liking different kinds of vegetables. The other dog appears and also protects you from getting hit. And then he throws the dog away. And then this kind of time door appears. Well, that's what the translator called it anyway, a time door. And then she starts praying. And also talking about vegetables. So the ending doesn't really make sense, at least in the poorly translated bit I was reading, because it just kind of ends. Everyone is okay at the end, and you get a group photo together. So I'm sure it'd make a lot more sense in the original Japanese. And if you've read through the whole story, not just the ending. And then there's the credits. So after the end is when it lets you print some pictures, so we're going to try and put the paper in and actually print something now for the first time. Translator app says on here, when using this stopper, remove and turn in the direction of the arrow before mounting. Take up slack in the ribbon. This bit of cardboard stuff is folded down into the little wheels here to stop them from turning. Pull that out, and there's some arrows here. Not sure. I don't think there is any slack in the ribbon. I have to take this tape off as well. Hopefully the camera is focusing, because I know it has trouble with focusing. Okay, we're ready to use cartridge. There's also this kind of key thing in here, which maybe this is what you use to take up the slack in the cartridge or something. That feels like there's no slack, so that should be fine. And there's some warnings here about just taking up the slack again, and this one here doesn't translate very well, but something about it burning if it's not in properly, but I'll just put it in and that's in. Don't think there's much more I can do than putting it in, so put the cover back on. And then I'll get the game going, ready to print, and then hopefully it will actually print, but I have a feeling it's not going to work just because it's so old. This is the main menu of the game at the start, so we need to go down to play from the continuation. And then the top save file is the all clear one. I have to wait for the translator, so he's saying, I'm glad to see you again. Use up and down, press the A button to choose, press B button to go back. Then the top option says, make a memory sticker, and then the second one is make a sticker for tomorrow. I don't know what that is supposed to mean. And then the bottom one is start over from your favorite scene. So that's just going back through the game. So we're going to go to the top one to make a memorable sticker. Oh, and when I turned the loopy on after putting in the paper, it, like for a second, loaded in the paper, so at least it is doing something. Pressing left or right on the cross key will be fast forward. When you stop, press the B button. Okay. Oh, okay, I can... If I use left and right, that changes through the tens of images. And then if I use the up and down, that changes through the single images. So these are all the kind of illustrations in the game. Try and find a good one to try and print for the first time. Maybe we'll try that one because it's pretty cute with her and the dog. So okay, I think we want to choose that one. We'll press A. Let's make a sticker with this picture, yes or no. We'll go yes. And it's attempting to print. It says wait a minute on the screen. It's doing something. It takes a while to print because I think it has to go through each colour. Because when you put in the cartridge it has that. Is that finished? It says, now it's done. I can't see anything. I don't know if I should be pulling... Oh, that's right, I need to press the cutter. Oh my god, it actually works! It prints perfectly! How amazing is that? I'm worried the camera's not going to focus on it. It actually works perfectly. I don't know if the original one maybe looks a little bit better than that? That's incredible. I'm so happy. That's amazing. I can't believe it actually worked. Okay, we'll try and print another one. I don't know what's going on with my video capture at the moment, it's going all weird. I'm not sure why the Elgato doesn't like the retro tint sometimes, but hopefully it's fixed now. We'll find another picture to print. Maybe we'll print this one. It's just amazing that it actually works. And I don't know how many prints it can do per cartridge. I saw on eBay that you can buy very expensive new cartridges. It's finished. And again, it worked perfectly. Hopefully the camera is going to focus on that. I'll try and get some closer photos later and edit those in. So this one does look a tiny bit faded around here. Not sure why that is, but still, considering this thing is like 25 years old, that's really amazing. I think that's going to print again. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, it's finished again. This one has text on it. I need to translate that to see what it says. some story. That's amazingly high resolution printing for this thing. I thought that was like a pre-printed thing on the sticker saying that there's like, this is a part of the paper that you had to do something with, but no, that's printed off the game. It's saying when you get rid of Akori, is there a big cabbage waiting, pouring? This is very badly translated. Yeah, it's text from the game. We'll print that one of the dog attacking. There we go. That's the dog attacking. A nice print again. It looks so good and so crisp. It's like, how is this printing so well for 25-year-old paper? And whatever technology it uses to print each image. Okay, well, 79 is the last image at the end of the game when you get a group photo of everyone, so we'll print that as well. That's finished. There we go, a nice group photo of everyone. This one, okay, so this says there is story in this picture is attached, so yeah, for some of them it's got that extra print where you can print some of the story along to go with the image, but we don't want to do that for this. Just to make them flat and easier to look at, I've put them in this Switch game cartridge, or game case. But it's so cool that it has actually worked. So good little illustrations for printing on. And then you can kind of see there's a border around the edge, and that's where the stickers peel from. I don't really want to peel them off. In the unboxing of all the Loopy stuff that I did, I showed these other cartridges, so I haven't worked out how to use this game yet, so maybe I'll make a video about that another time. And then I've got the Magical Shop cartridge. This allows you to put in a video input and capture a screenshot and then put text and stickers and stuff on it. I'm having issues with this, and I'm not sure exactly why. I found a video from earlier this year from the Long Island Retro Gaming YouTube channel where he's got one of these that doesn't work and he replaces all the capacitors in it and then it starts working, so I might need to do that. But it's also an issue where most of the devices I have are PAL instead of NTSC, so I'm not 100% sure if it's the capacitor issue or the PAL issue. It's probably the capacitors, because the guy on that channel said he's fixed a few of these before and it's always been the capacitors. But I did find one or two devices that were on PAL and it would kind of accept, but it would just be a grey distorted image. So I'll have to look into that a bit more to make another video about that actually working and printing. But this has hopefully been as interesting for you as it has been for me. I'm so glad that the printer actually works. It's such a strange and interesting console. So that will be all for now, and hopefully we can stick around another time for some more Loopy videos.